Hello, everybody. I'm Don Counts, and we're here at the Warrior exhibit without Linda today. But we have Joe Ben Skin Gattis.
Right.
Joe, tell us a bit about yourself and where you grew up and
Okay.
what led you into the military.
Well, I was raised up Wabash, right, almost Moore County line. I was 5 years old with a sharecropper. We moved to Crest Ridge, and I lived up there the rest of the time they went in service and all. We sharecroppers raised corn, tobacco, hay, and killed hogs. Christmas had plenty of meat and tomatoes, but we had to grow in it. We had big garden, canyon, all that stuff, and not the only thing we ever had to buy was sugar, salt, and pepper. And then I was in high school. I went 4 years to Crystal Ridge, and they closed school. Then I went to Mulberry. I got out of Mulberry, went to high school, 1949 through 53. And I got out of that when I turned 1853. I joined the National Guard. I stayed in the National Guard almost 2 years. We went to Fort McClellan, Alabama, every two weeks every year. And first year I was cook. Next year the 105 house, everything would blow up, and you had to cover years up when them things started. So they had a draft coming up in 54, and I knew I was going to be in draft. I didn't know where I'd get drafted, so I volunteered Air Force. I went Blackland Air Force Base out in San Antonio, Texas, and stayed 11 weeks. You learn a lot of discipline in there. They'd wake us up 4:30 in the morning. You had 15 minutes to make your bunk, shower, shave, and be dressed out in formation. So made a better soldier out of you. And then I got out of basic. I thought I was going to get something. They put me in the Air Police. They sent me to Montgomery, Alabama, Maxwell Air Force Base. I stayed down there till December. When I left down there in December, that's when the bus set-in started in Montgomery, Alabama. So on January the 6th, I went to Germany for 3 years, sent back Air Force Base, Kaiserslautern, Germany. And my job was base patrol, gates. We had an airline, and we had to guard the planes at night. Had a missile site. We had to guard a missile site. They worked us 3 shifts. We'd go in 4 in the evening to 12 midnight, day off. 12 midnight, 8 in the morning, day off. 8 in the morning, 12. And 4 in the evening, we get 3 days off and go anywhere we wanted to. In Germany, a mark was a little over $4, a little over 4 marks. And you could take a mark and get on a train over and go as far as you wanted to and come back. Then while I was over, I got to go to Tripoli 2 months at duty. Tripoli was 100 years behind this. We had a missile outfit. We went over and tested and fired it out in the desert. So it was right on the Mediterranean Sea. And right on the Mediterranean Sea, we had a big screen. You've seen a drive-in theater. They had one of them sitting there. You had block concrete place, and you go down and sit and watch a movie. You had to carry your pillow and your blankets. In the daytime, it's 110. At night, you had to cover up. So I got to see all of that stuff. Then I got to go to Brussels, Belgium, when they had the World's Fair over there. Got to go to Brussels 3 days, and each country had a big pavilion over all that stuff in. And I learned something while I was there. I went through the line and get something to eat. Got there, and she said, "What do you want to drink?" I said, "A cup of water." She said, "That'd be 10 cents."
Oh,
Yeah, so.
you had to pay for water.
I stayed there a while, and most of my tour was in Simbach, Air Force Base, Germany. And while I was there, I got to go to Copenhagen, Denmark. And there's a Barnes boy in National Guard I was. I went to a restaurant over, and he was there. Then I ran into him, and then we didn't have no telephone. We had to write. I didn't get to see my parents and talk to them for 3 years. So we'd write every day, and it was cold and snowy all the time. It was bad. And it gets so cold over there. Whew, out on the flight line, you guard them planes and lay down in the snow to keep the wind hitting you. So they did that, and they did some traveling. I went to France, Australia, Paris. Paris was a bad place, I thought then, and But overall, I enjoyed it over. I wasn't going to go back Muslim about to take over there, but yeah. I enjoyed it. Germany was short of wood. And when a tree died over in the forest, they could get the permission to cut it down. When they did, they had to put a number on that stump and set another right beside of it. Wow. And you could drive your vehicle through the woods over there. And the Germans were pretty good. You didn't have a lot of trouble, but they didn't drink water. Second World War was poor, they said. And they all drank beer, but you never did see nobody drunk. That's what they did. And the polka, they had that festival there. It was really good. And I went up in Gatlinburg over there where Hitler's hideout was, way up in a mountain. Went down there twice, and it snowed in, and I tried to ski down there, but I wasn't no good on skis. So they had a lot of pretty cities in Germany, and over there, the Autobahn was like our interstate now. And they built the Autobahn, Hitler did. It had ever so long. You had to have a straight stretch where you could land planes on it and take off. And I got back, we had interstates, and what's his name? Eisenhower. He built the interstates, and right. You drive and you see a long stretch. In case of war, we can go in on planes and take them off. And I come back. I got out. I piddled around a couple of years. In 1959, I went down to Huntsville, took some tests, Ireton, so they called me down on a Thursday for an interview. So I got the job on Thursday, and I went to where I was going to work. They said, come in second shift on Friday. So I worked second shift years. I worked midnight shifts. I was an EAM operator. IBM had everything back then, cars. So I worked them in.
What were you doing?
Well, I was an EAM operator. Then when you got went to computers. Then I got in a computer programmer. Then I went to computer specialist, and I finished my career in computers. I had 36 and a half years and retired in 89 at 57. And I had 6.5 military and a little over 30 in the government. So wow. I've been retired since 89. I got out of that. Opened a patch down here, and I volunteered there for 27 years. And well, I was kind of sport-minded. When I was in grade school, we had a little softball team. I played softball, basketball against Johnny Majors in Lynchburg. And then here we had a league softball. I pitched softball. I coached Little League, Babe Ruth. And I played golf for 41 years. And they had an independent here, both men and women, and I played in it, and I coached a girls team in it for a couple of years, and they closed it down. All the girls was from Plymouth, and we had a good ball club. First game, I got thrown out.
How'd that happen?
Well, he called Tamla, and I talked to my player. I said, don't pay no attention to Reverend, just play ball, and he kicked me out. But we won that game. We lost one game that year. Next year, we like 20-something. We played 3-on-3. We scored 80-something points a game, 3-on-3. You know, used to, when I was in school, you 30, 32. I remember when I was freshman, sophomore, Central Tiger with girls was good, and Blanche was good. We played the district. We beat Blanche 42-41. Next week went to the play or whatever it was, the region, and we beat Blanche again 42-41.
Wow. They
had a girl down there named Gleefler Winfrey. She was some kind of ball player. And
who was some of the girls on your team?
Dr. George. She transfers Blanche, and the Moffitt girl, Shirley Moffitt, and I see. I'll think in a minute. And the boys had a good team. We had Bobby Parks and Ralph Askey and Paul Bedingfield, Wayne Honey, and Bobby was the best all-around athlete I ever seen. He's all-state basketball, football, and basketball.
Wow.
And Bobby, I had an uncle, some lived down there. He was from Lynchburg. And he must come down to the grade school because he went over here to Rob D. Lee and graduated. He was an All-American, and my first year they were 10-0. They went and played a bowl game and got beat. And next year was 9-1, and we played and won it. So they was 22-2 in 2 years, Bobby. And after that, we didn't have much. Bobby was a quarterback. No, he was running back, done the passing, kicking, punting, and played defense back. Back then, football, you played 11 both ways. You couldn't substitute like you do now. So
yeah.
Then after that, we had a mediocre team. I remember my senior year, we didn't have we played in Huntsville. They fumbled in the end zone with a crow and beat them 7-0.
Wow.
Then Steve Edge and all that bunch come in and had some decent teams, and then had the big guy, John Meadows. When John come in, I filmed 9 years of football for him.
Yeah.
You travel with the team, and they have a practice game. I'd take off and come in the evening practice. I remember one evening went over Marshall County practice, and they put me up on top of the school bus filming it. And all these down here, on the little booths, you had to get up on them, and had some cold nights. I remember 1982, we was 9-1, and going and play. The reason we lost, Marcus Webb, when a running back, was out that one game, got beat 6-0.
Wow.
And then we went on and win it. And
did you video the state championship year that year?
yeah, we went to the state championship. I thought I was going to film it. I got up there and I got up there and said, no, you can't film. They're going to film it. So I went up to the press box to coach it. We had a good team, but our first punt, Asking boy, was punting. He messed up on the first punt. We stayed there, the defense did all of him, but Marcus went a long touchdown. It was up 7-0. They tied it, went in overtime. And they got it first, kick a field goal. Our first play, Tim Johnson ran right in and scored a touchdown. That was something else.
That was something else.
But the best team was down there at 85. Well, we had all that good team, and first 8 games, nobody scored us. And we got in the playoff, went up Murfreesboro. We jumped off, first 2 plays, scored 2. 12-0, and I know what happened. They beat us 32-12.
Wow.
That Tommy Bonner and all them good boys, yeah.
Boy, they were
yeah,
good.
And then after that, I quit. Coach retired in '89. I retired. And I just go to all the basketball games. And Steve Edge and I was on the radio some, and
yeah.
I filmed some. And Shirley, I was thinking that old girl, old Plaster, was good to win Tennessee anyway. She's about 6'5". I'm thinking they mean it. And she was going to go to Ole Miss. And I guess Pat Summit got her, and in her senior year, they won her first national championship there.
Wow.
Yeah, she was really good.
Yep.
And Pat was like, people don't remember, the best football coach ever been at General Bob Nayland.
Right.
He was like 172 and 27. And he was a general, and they called him back in twice while he was coaching football. Yeah.
Wow.
And Johnny Majors, he didn't want him because Johnny weighed about 165 pounds and played a small school. The coaches talked him into getting him and turned out to be the best running back they had up there.
Wow.
He's everything, yeah. In 1972, when Joe Ed Graham went up there, I started going football again. I've been going to 72. I quit about 4 years ago. I used to go to games up there. I was up there. The biggest game we ever had. We beat Florida, and I believe it's in what year? 58 or 70 in overtime. Beat them 13-10, and in overtime, and they missed we kicked theirs, and they missed theirs. 108,000 beat crowd that up there.
Wow.
So
you saw some
Ray Henson and I used to go to all the football games there. We've seen them all, so
yeah.
That was a thrill all them years. First we started going up there, ticket was $6. Now I can't afford them.
Oh no.
So, and I give that up, and I gave golf up about 3 or 4 years ago. I walked for 42 years walking.
Yeah. You're 91 now.
Huh?
You're 91 now.
Yeah, and I've been a lot of places. But
Yeah.
played golf. Went to Master. We got it years ago. You could buy a ticket for the practice round. We went down and practice round. Now you can't hardly get it practice round. The beautiest course you ever seen, the Master. I played in Opera Land and traveled around different places and down in Georgia and one of the funnest little places up Swanee. They got a little 9-hole course up there. And they had a green down here. We was playing on the putted 4 times up. He said, I ain't gonna putt again. Picked it up. And I've had 2 holes in one out here and a double eagle. Never, wow. Only one I ever seen in the last 41 years. Somebody might have had it. A double eagle is on par 5, second shot win. Luck, all that's luck.
Wow.
Ugly shot I ever hit out there. Shanked it, hit the bank, kicked, and rolled down in for an eagle. So I got pretty good. I could go out there and play 1 or 2 under, 1 2 over though. And I had a stroke, and that set me back a long time. And I got where I could play. It was in this left leg. My doctor said it'll eventually come back. Well, I went to Patrick every day. When I had a stroke, I'd get in the pool early morning, early, and work out all the time. And so 7 years, and a little over 4 months later, I was walking around the track, and a smooth feeling started right here, went all the way down up my toe, and the circulation came back.
Wow.
Yeah, miracle.
That is a miracle.
So miracles happen. And,
they do.
And I quit that down there about, I used to go 7 days a week. I'd go down there 7 days a week, get on the treadmill, set at 15-minute miles, about 4 miles every day.
Wow.
And I had some good neighbors out there, take care of their yards. And that circle out in front of my house, a couple of them, I mowed that 52 years, and I turned back over the city.
Yeah, I know where you're talking about.
Yeah. And
let's talk about your brothers. You showed me on the wall here at the Warrior exhibit. Tell me who they
my
were.
My older brother was Jack Duke, and he got drafted in Second World War, and he went to Germany. He was over when all that fighting's going on, and he come home and he got a job in Benton, Kentucky, and he'd been up there ever since he passed away. And then he got married and been living there ever since. My other brother went to Philippines, and he knew they boys never talk. Most people don't talk about when you're in the service and all.
What was his name?
His name is James Gattis.
Gotcha.
And my other brother, Billy Gattis, he got drafted in a career, and he went in career, and he talked a little about how they nights had to sleep in and walk in that old mud and cold and all that. And he come back, and he went up to visit my brother in Kentucky, and he just stayed up there, and he lived the rest of his life. My oldest brother was fixing to turn 89, and my other brother, he was in the early 70s, and the other brother died at 85, and lucky I got 91. I had a sister named Marie Campbell, and she was fixing to turn a couple of years. She's fixing to turn 97 on January 5th. She's out in December.
Wow. So
I got one brother left. Melvin lives in Howell. He's fixing to turn 87. And we had a bunch of long livers in our family. But back then, you didn't get out and run around. You worked all the time. Right. I always told them to live a clean living and stay busy.
That's good.
You got to keep you going and have a lot of good friends. You go to church, I got a lot of friends happy. And Patrick's been a blessing me down there because I've been going all these years since '89. They opened up. I still go 6 days a week. They had a big heated swimming pool. They had a big spa down there, hot tub.
Yeah.
But it closed up about 2 or 3 years, so we couldn't get it fixed, and it filled up concrete.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the hospital took over this, and they really done a lot down there. Fixed it up and put new lights and floors and stuff. They really fixed it up. So I still go, and my wife passed away Thursday week ago. She was 88. She turned 88 on February the 2nd. I wouldn't let her get out on their birthday of Groundhog Day.
Oh, yeah.
And I turned 91 on March 31st. And everything, I'm still doing good. Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah.
We appreciate your service. How long did you serve in the military?
I served 6 years.
Plus
Two Army, 4 Air Force.
Plus you went into the National Guard afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how many years were you in the Guard?
I was almost 2 years. That's I left. I was going to get drafted. So
I got
4
you.
years in the Air Force. And,
I got you. Very good.
I enjoyed it in Germany. Well, you got used to it after 4 years. I could stay over and live and been all right. So
Oh yeah.
home is wherever you're at.
That's right.
You got to learn. If you're happy, home is where you go. That's it. No matter where you go. And I got a son, Mickey, and he graduated from high school down Central and went to MTSU, got a degree. Then he went to Redstone, worked up here, and had a chance to get in the civil service. He got in a sports specialist, and he went to Indiana 6 months. And he went to Stewart for 2.5 years, and Fort Ord, California 2 years, and Fort Lewis, Washington. While he was there, he's safe out, and he had to go to troop Somalia 5 months. Then he finally got Fort Knox, Kentucky. Been up there. Right. He's fixed to retire. He got 36.5 years of government. And me and my wife, wherever we went, we traveled and stayed. And we got to go to Canada and most of it. When he went out to California, he's down in Georgia. Come up. We left on Sunday at noon. We got to California Friday at noon. We stopped at Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon is one of the most exciting things you ever see.
Wow. And
Hoover's Dam, and you can't imagine. Me, that's one of the wonders of the world.
Oh.
It goes down 200 feet underground, and
wow.
We went down in and had them big turbines, got them big things, and had these a rivet was 13-pound rivets that held them on.
Wow.
Wow, it was the Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon. You could ride down on donkeys, or you could fly down it, or you could go down on a boat. We didn't do either one. So we got to the Redwood Forest, and we stopped in Las Vegas. When not Las Vegas, man, you can't tell daylight day. It's all the way down the clock. So.
Wow.
Trump had a pavilion out there. Trump had a big one, and on each side door you go in a big cage there, and had white bears in it.
Wow.
And they had all that kind of stuff going just around the clock. And we spent one night out there and we traveled, but then we went up to Mount Rainier, as far as we go up on around Rainier. He worked on a post out there, and in his office, he could look like Mount Rainier just right, about a 2-hour drive to get to it.
Wow.
And then we went, San Francisco was something else, man, and it was a ball game, went in Oakland and went across the Golden State Bridge. Well, went across, and I said, I thought we had got to pay a fee, and I come back here to pay a fee, get back in. And Chinatown out there, we went down China. You can't believe Chinatown. Big buildings, and they closed in, and man, that was grand. If you go down to a little cafe, they'd have a dog skin hanging out the window.
Wow.
They eat all that stuff. And we was walking down the streets out there, and it had a tree standing on it. Looked like a tree standing. We walked by, he jumped out at us. and every little place out there, they had music going all the time in it, but it was scrounging. We never did go to the big prison out there. It was always closed. But they claimed the 2 men escaped, but the people said they did. Something got them before they got out. So. Wow. And we went down to Hearst Castle. You ever heard of Hearst Castle? Hearst run the paper in New York. And he bought all that. He had some from Moses' time and all back out, and he bought all that stuff and shipped to San Francisco, and he built a big castle up on the hill out there. It had 3 stores, and it had 3 swimming pools, and one of them had to do 3 times to get it, and one of them looked like gold trimming in it, and you had a tour. You go in there and walk. They had a big old rug back in Pharaoh's day. I said, I wouldn't have that. He said, it cost $1 million. He had a lot of that stuff. He traveled the world over, and people brought all that stuff and shipped it. He had nothing in New York and nothing. So what happened was, it took 21 years to build it. Well, they never did finish it. if you hadn't finished it, you had to pay tax on it.
Yeah.
And so finally the government took it over, and he had everything, and it's amazing. And Hearst had that daughter, went crazy wild with them bunch, and we seen a lot of things, but I wasn't living in California. Out there in Monterey, he lived close to Monterey there, and Pebble Beach is about 10 minutes away. We used to go out and the deer run all over the fairway, big deer, and you couldn't kill them out there. They're just big.
Yeah.
And Monterey, fall would come in at night, and then you go out there. You couldn't paint with the spray paint. You had to do everything brush.
Oh.
Yeah. And there's a guy I used to ride in the car with, T.O. Shelton. He got wounded in Second War, and he was on a ship, and the shell come down and messed him. He stayed out there in the hospital over a year out there.
Wow.
He lived up in Owen Shelton, and and then we rode in the carpool down to 5 of us. We rode in the carpool, rotated days, and I remember he had a new Chrysler, and we was going up one morning, it's cold, and we was going uphill out there, hit black ice, and that thing slid around there and just kept going. We had one flat all the time we was driving down there. Of course, I worked nights for about 4 years before I started days. I stayed on days, and I had a good life, and I had good jobs, and enjoyed it.
Well, we appreciate your service, and we appreciate you telling your story.
Yeah.
Thank you for your 91 years of Fayetteville, Lincoln County, and we appreciate what you've done.
I appreciate it. We got a lot of good people around Lincoln County.
We sure
You don't think they could go some of these other towns, Chicago, San Francisco, and you better be proud you're living in a small town.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Joe Ben Skin Gattis.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.